Hey, what's up, guys? Pet Man Matt Morrow, Ken on the Varsity. We're going to take a look at a 9-8 matchup here in the 4AA West. We've got North Meck going on the road to take on Richmond County. You look at North Meck on offense, you got Aaron Scott at quarterback. He's thrown for a little over 1,500 yards this year, 12 touchdowns, only one interception. Really good with the football, making smart decisions. He is a dual threat kid. He's also rushed for 522 yards this year, 6.5 yards a carry and 7 touchdowns. But when you're talking about running the football, the big threat, of course, is Emmanuel Wilson. Averages 150 yards rushing a game, 20 touchdowns, 1,645 yards on the year. North Meck team, as a team, averages 7.5 yards a carry. And then they throw for, averaging about 160 yards passing. So when you look at the attempts, they've thrown it 208 times and rushed it 350. So they're a run-first team. And when you see them, they're more like a power spread. They'll spread you a little bit with formation, and they'll run the ball. And when you got a light box and you got Wilson, who's a big, strong kid with good feet and good moves, it's a tough thing to stop. And they really get that thing going well. When they throw the ball, they don't necessarily try to hit home runs. You look at their receiving numbers. Olsen, number 2, is the big threat. 48 catches, 587 yards. That's 12 yards a catch. So they're not, trying to take shots down the field a ton of times. They can do it. Jabril Griffin, number 4, has had some big plays. He's got 26 catches on the year, 16 yards a catch. Olsen's got 4 touchdowns. Watts, number 19, the number 3 receiver here, also has 4 touchdowns, and Griffin has 2. Tompkins can also catch and run. He's got 13 catches and 3 touchdowns. So they don't, necessarily, have a vertical passing game. They'll take shots when they're there, but most of the time it's a controlled passing game, trying to keep the chains moving, keep the clock moving, and let Wilson and Scott do most of the work. Good size up front. I think they get off the ball pretty good. Overall, they're a strong offensive line, I believe, and their strength is run blocking, as you can see with those numbers that we just talked about. You look at defense; the big thing about them is they're fast. They really get to the ball well. I wouldn't say they're huge, but they're very athletic. Dantavian Bird, number 16, 74 tackles on the year, 5 tackles for loss, averaging 10 tackles a game is what we got on max preps right now through 7 games. So just to give you an idea, I don't think these numbers are totally updated, but you got a pretty good idea of who to look out for. And he's definitely one of the guys that you need to watch. Griffin also plays defense. He plays some safety, I believe. Very athletic and rangy back in that position. Thaxton is a senior. He's another good player. He's got 47 tackles on the year. And then Jamonte Gray is among the linemen is the one to watch defensively. He's got 40 tackles on the year as well. You look at the sack numbers. Through the numbers we have on max preps, Gray and Bird are the 2 guys you have to watch when you're throwing the ball. And Richmond Senior is going to be throwing the ball a good bit. So you want to account for those guys in pass protection. Overall, my thoughts on North Meck, they're a good team. We had some discussion on our forums on CarolinaVarsity.com and the 4A forums. Some people were talking about the strength of schedule and non-conference wise, and then the early part of their conference schedule, they didn't play the strongest teams necessarily, but what they did was they won. They started out, I believe it was 7-0. And when you win all your games like that, you're a good football team. When they got to a tough part of their schedule, they had Mallard Creek, they had Huff, and they had Vance. And playing those 3 in a row is really tough for anybody in the state. I don't care who you are. The Mallard Creek game was first. I think it was Huff that was first in that 3-game stretch there. And then they lost to Huff by 1, who's a very good team on the other side of the bracket in 4AA. And then they lost to Mallard Creek, the number 1 team, in 4AA West. by 9 points at Mallard Creek. So, they can compete with the best of the best. Now, Vance got them pretty good, but Vance is a Jekyll and Hyde team, man. That night, they could have beat anyone in the state the way they played. And then, they turned around and they had a tough one against Huff. So, you don't know what you're going to get, but Vance is very talented, and, you can't discount that. So Richmond's going to have a tough game here on their hands on their home field. And you look at Richmond, I looked at some film of them. Spread offense. I like, I'm a spread guy in my heart. And I like some of the concepts that they run in their spread offense. The unique thing about them is they're led by a freshman quarterback in Hood. On the year, he's averaging about 190 yards passing. As a freshman, that's awesome. I mean, most freshman players in general are playing JV football, and you to come up and lead the Richmond program on varsity as a quarterback in a spread offense, that's a great coaching job and a great job of that young man. Great work. And then running the ball, they got the main threat is Miller, number 21, who's rushed for 1,327 yards this year, 19 touchdowns. When you're spreading the field a lot, it opens up a lot of gaps and opportunities in the run game. You got a talented kid like Miller. He can take advantage of those, and he's done that all season long. And you look at Hood. Hood can run 275 yards rushing. They've got some other guys here. Covington was run for 475 as a sophomore with 8 touchdowns. So in North Meck, you got multiple threats. You got to play smart on that and know your formations, know your keys, tendencies, big thing, and key in on those. Of course, in the spread offense, you got multiple receivers. The leading guy is staying back, a junior with 34 catches for 751, 5 touchdowns. And Wallace and Baldwin also, these are both seniors with 29 and 25 catches respectively. Wallace also has 8 touchdowns on the season, leading the team in receiving touchdowns. So you got to know where those guys are, especially in key situations with them being a spread offense. You look at the attempts, they've thrown it 211 and they rushed it for 301. That's pretty balanced when you break it down. You get some games that are at hand, you're running the ball to kind of end it. So that's a pretty balanced offense. That's good stuff right there. Defensively, some guys to watch for Richmond. You kind of look at the numbers here. You don't have anyone standing out hugely. Wall is a senior. He's got 61 tackles, 13 tackles for loss. That's really good right there. Good numbers. Everett's got 59 tackles. And then you got some other guys in the 40s there. The thing with Richmond defensively is we've seen it and we've had it reported to us. They have some issues stopping the run. And that's the big thing that you're afraid of if you're a Richmond fan, because North Meck is a run-first team and they run it well. If I'm Richmond and I have trouble stopping it, I've got to commit to it. I've got to go 8 in the box, and I've got to, stop it at all costs. If you beat me over the top, then you beat me over the top. I mean, you're not going to beat me doing what you do best. That's just my opinion. Different people have different philosophies, so it'll be interesting to see, what Richmond chooses to do to stop the North Meck attack, running the football. But anytime at Richmond County, you got Raider Magic going on, and you've got the storyline of Coach Mormon coming back to his old high school. We talked to him earlier in the season. I know a lot of Richmond fans saw that video, and I know some probably want him to come home. But Coach Till, I really like the offense that he's brought, to Richmond. And I think if you give him some time, you got a freshman quarterback, let him grow in the program, good things are going to come. And, to be 7-4, is not the top Richmond standard, but, you're doing it with a freshman QB. So, just keep that in mind. I think it's going to be a heck of a game. If it wasn't so far, I would go, but I can't make that one, unfortunately. But North Meck's bringing a bus of fans. Really good to see that. I want to wish everybody good luck, safe travels to the Vikings, and thank you for watching. We definitely appreciate it.